When you're starting a dental practice or any type of healthcare practice, you know that there are so many things involved that you've really got to think about. As that practice evolves, grows, adds employees, and just continues to make additional revenue, you're going to need ongoing support. Now, I've talked about this in the past, but I want to drive this home because I understand that a lot of people think that it's not that big of a deal and they don't get the support they need until something happens, and then it becomes a costly and expensive endeavor. Having ongoing support protects your dental or healthcare practice from many things. First, you have someone to proactively review your agreements so that there is an understanding on your part as to what you're signing. That might not sound like a big deal. You're signing documents already. What could possibly go wrong? But we find a lot of providers very smart, but very, very busy and don't have the time to actually read the contracts that they're signing, and oftentimes sign things that they don't necessarily want, not in the service, but the terms. They didn't understand all the terms of the agreement, and then they're locked into something that they didn't like or they can't get out of or is very expensive and it's an ongoing thing that they don't even need. That can be a big drain on your expenditures. Also, if you've got a dental or healthcare practice and you've got, you as a provider, or even if you have multiple providers, oftentimes malpractice things come up, and they don't necessarily come up on the physically harming someone, but sometimes they come up in complaints. As you know, that providers, dental practices, they get people issuing complaints against them all the time. And the best way to resolve a complaint is trying to resolve it from the start, is trying to get counsel involved to try to diminish the complaint or resolve the issue. And that becomes a very challenging endeavor if you wait until it reaches your licensing board, or wait until you reach the lawsuit phase, because that becomes incredibly expensive to defend. Again, looking at your lease negotiations, oftentimes providers don't know, again, what they've signed. They're in these agreements, they don't know when the term ends, or they don't know exactly what the contract says, and it's not in their favor. You want to make sure that you're getting those reviewed prior to signing, because it becomes a lot more challenging to change once you're already in agreement. Assisting with adding new providers in the practice in an employment agreement review, or in hiring and firing staff. That can become incredibly challenging because, as you know, staff can come and go, and people can make employment law complaints as well. That absolutely can ravish any business. So you want to make sure that you're ahead of that in the beginning of your practice. And again, licensing issues that continue to come up, and then outsourcing some credentialing support, or even having some billing support, and making sure that you're not doing anything that might be considered fraudulent or illegal. Those are the reasons why you want ongoing support in your healthcare practice. It might seem like it's not that big of a deal, but it becomes an incredibly expensive deal when you don't have someone having your back. Reach out to us at dorismeet.com if you're thinking, man, I really need somebody on my team that's got my back, that's looking over my stuff, that I can constantly just throw ideas to about things so that I don't get myself in trouble, because an ounce of prevention is worth so little, but that cure is really, really, really expensive. And people don't understand until they get there and they're met with the surmounting legal fees. I always laugh and joke that litigation is incredibly expensive, whether it's a licensing matter, whether it's a business dispute, whether it's a vendor dispute. Yeah, those things are incredibly expensive. If you want to avoid those things, make sure you get help up front. Reach out to us, and let's talk at dorismeet.com. Thanks so much. Bye bye.